Hey folks, welcome back to part 3 of the Star Citizen timeline. When we last left off, humanity had, despite some resistance, managed to unite under the banner of the United Nations of Earth in 2380, ready to push out further into the universe. You may notice I've fixed a mistake since the last video. The jump point connecting Null and Oberon at this time was actually large-sized. Anyway, time for some lore. 2402. The already discovered Vega system is claimed by the UNE. 2 planets in the green zone, Aramis and Selene, are quickly terraformed. The system's population expands, constructs cities, mines the asteroid field, and gains its first representative in rapid succession. Vega is seen as a potential centerpiece for rapid human expansion that might someday compete with Earth. In 2412, famed astrographer Elaine Victus conducts a deep field survey roughly half an astronomical unit past the Vega system's cometary cloud. Victus powers down his survey runabout thrusters and goes dark to capture a maximum scan resolution. Upon attempting to activate his highly specialized stellar camera, he finds it unable to starlock because of an imperceptible level of spacecraft movement. Further investigation reveals the movement, mere microns from what his IFCS had calculated as standstill, is the result of extreme proximity within 400 meters to an uncharted jump point. General amazement over Victus's incredible luck quickly turns to an unequalled passion for expanded space exploration. The K-type main sequence star on the other side of the jump point, quickly named Virgil by Earth spin doctors, seeking to instill a sense of regal manifest destiny, is located in a region of space previously thought naturally inaccessible. What's more, its first planet is the single strongest candidate for terraformation yet discovered. At some point after this, a jump point is also discovered linking Virgil with Oberon. Within 10 years, Virgil becomes a verdant, thriving human colony. The rapid colonization of Virgil in the early 25th century sparks an expansion movement that lasts for centuries. The transformation of Virgil 1 from a desolate rocky world into a lush and thriving settlement seems proof of humanity's newfound dominion over the stars, and many are eager to find more worlds to further solidify our standing. In 2430, despite scientific predictions that no further jump points would exist in Sol, Wendell Dobbs nevertheless discovers a second one in our home system. He names the newly discovered system on the other end Davian after his father-in-law. With textbooks having to be rewritten, the discovery ultimately leads to a flurry of advancements in jump scanning technology. Although one potential terraforming candidate is flagged in the system, it's otherwise not considered much of a find, at least not until 8 years later, in 2438, when a jump point from the Davian system is discovered by fugitive Adelaide Loris. Although there is speculation that she had been using the system at the other end as a hideout before then, she opts to name the system after her law enforcement nemesis Marshal Winton Cathcart. With no planets, the UNE aren't particularly impressed with their find. Nav jumpers do flood to Davian, however, in search of further jump points. One such explorer, 36-year-old Vernon Tarr, is searching the Davian system for jump points when his systems pick up a contact. He opens fire before realizing that it is, in fact, an alien vessel. Panicking, he calls in the event to the military, who rush to the scene. They enact standard containment protocol and try to calm the alien down using pantomime techniques. The alien lets them record some of his language, and they also run cursory scans on his ship before the ship departs. At the time, the fact that Tarr fired on the ship isn't allowed to reach the public, and Tarr is understanding, getting to remain a hero, rather than the man who nearly started an interstellar war. 2 weeks later, a delegation of the aliens appears in the Davian system, and establishes contact with the UNE's General Neil Sokolovich. Over the next few months, the two species work to break through the communication barrier, and we learn who they are, the Banu, a collective race of planet states that forms the Banu Protectorate. They too have just started to explore the universe. Later that same year, Sokolovich and the other delegates signed the first interstellar peace and trade accord with the Banu. Little did we know at the time that the first contact was actually made with a Banu fugitive far from the Protectorate. Back over in the Cathcart system, due to its lack of real use and with no local residents, the UNE put the system under military classification and began using it as a junkyard of sorts. In 2441, legendary professional explorer Bao Yun discovers a jump point from Vega to the Bremen system, located on the outer reaches of Charon's Nebula. Yun's crew charts the star's 4 worlds, identify the only green band terraforming candidate as unremarkable, and Yun promptly sells his spotter's rights to the UNE. They aren't quite as scathing of the system though, and the second planet, Rightif, is terraformed. While most homesteaders at this time are attracted to risky, resource-rich systems, Bremen is seen as a safe alternative, and there is a slow influx of settlers over the next 200 years. In 2445, UNE Navy pilot Dominic Thapper discovers a jump point in Cathcart leading to a new system, which the military rather blandly names UDS 2445309. The Pathfinder's first assessment of the system is one of potential, but there is a problem. That problem being that this new system can only be accessed via Cathcart, which remains classified. Rather than risk opening Cathcart to civilian traffic, they attempt to make use of the system themselves, successfully terraforming the fourth planet, and even experimenting with terraforming the second, which is a smog planet like Venus. In 2449, following the discovery of the Banu, there has been a big push for discovery in the south, so to speak, and in 2449, a human makes a trade with a member of the Banu for a collection of star maps, one of which contains the coordinates of a jump point in Nemo connecting to the Corel system. Humanity rushes in, and while there is some tentative discussion over disrupting a handful of Banu guilds, also known as Suli, operating in Corel, the Banu aren't at all concerned as long as trade may continue. As such, the UNE claims the system with the aim of contributing to its viability by terraforming the third and fourth planets, Lo and Castor. A checkpoint is established to keep an eye on goods entering the UNE from the Protectorate, of particular necessity due to the slave trade that goes on within some Suli. Contingents of Banu start showing up in the system to get an edge in learning how to trade with humans and what we consider valuable. The sale of Banu ships to humans begins, and the system goes on to become a bustling trade lane where human and Banu cultures overlap. At some point between 2449 and 2530, our knowledge of the Banu frontier expands through trade. Perhaps the information is included in the deal made for Corel's discovery, or maybe it comes from later negotiations within Corel. Regardless, information is found regarding jumps from Corel to the Banu system of Geddon, and subsequently from Geddon to Bacchus. Geddon is home to a single planet, Tatko, a barren windswept mass of volcanic rock. While hostile to humans, it is naturally habitable by the Banu, who have established arcologies, nicknamed spires by humans, that go deep below the surface. Down here, mining Sulis harvest the planet's valuable resources. Over in the Bacchus system, the second planet is widely believed by humans to be the Banu homeworld, as the site of The Gathering, a special event where Banu congregate to make species-wide decisions. In 2460, Pali Lomet, one of the founding members of the Sol Astro Exploration Society, a gentlemanly philanthropic venture, has been sailing the expanse of Croshaw for several months, and low on supplies with a restless crew, he is days away from having to return to Sol, when his stoker, Darcy Ferren, notes that their quantum drive fuel calculations are off. Lomet, double-checking the figures, surmises that the extra burn-off is due to the pull of an unmarked junk well. Sure enough, 2 days later, the crew become the first humans to jump to the system that Lomet graciously names after the prospective Darcy. Upon Lomet's return, in the tradition of the SAS, he gifts the coordinates of the system as a philanthropic donation to humanity. The system is declared an ideal candidate for settlement and is open to the public. Corporate and private interests spread to the system, eager to stake their claim. Resources are rich, and so the ensuing land battle grows so unruly that the UNE is forced to intervene, establishing a lottery to help arbitrate the disputes. A myriad of flaws are uncovered that have given some parties unfair advantages, and this takes years to sort. Between 2460 and 2463, the rapid colonisation of Virgil, in combination with the push southward into Banu space, leads to Project Farstar, the government-funded march outward. Thousands of would-be explorers race to purchase survey vessels and scan the dark expanses of known space, with the hope that they may be next to discover a jump point. Unfortunately, though, the failed attempts at mediation over Ferren's land lottery serve to highlight the inefficiencies of the UNE as it struggles to cope with humanity's rapid expansion.